Well, Lonn Hartman's friends, family, and coworkers are now demanding answers about why something like this could happen to him at a music festival. Over the past year, Lonn has been working here at the Friends of Detroit as a mentor to kids. Everyone we've spoken to today says that he is an amazing human being.
We're just stunned. I mean, just blown back. Still, even when I heard it, I'm just.
Lonn Hartman was in northern Michigan at the Bliss Fest music festival last weekend when he was found with serious lacerations to his neck on Sunday, July 12th. Hartman's friends and family say he was violently assaulted in what was potentially a hate crime.
Just hours before his attack, his friend texted him asking him if he was safe, and he said no.
Therese Garnier is one of Lonn's closest friends and is now acting as the family's spokesperson. She says she believes his injuries were not self-inflicted.
We talk every day. We've been friends since we were teenagers. He has so much going for him. He just graduated. He got a new place that he was inviting me to. And he absolutely loves his job where he's mentoring kids. He tells me about it all the time.
The Emmett County Sheriff's Office has posted multiple updates online about this case. On Monday, they released a statement saying that they, quote, recognize the significant public interest surrounding this horrific incident and appreciate the community's patience and cooperation as investigators continue their work. Hartman has been in the ICU and is now recovering from his serious wounds. Back home in Detroit, his coworkers at Friends of the Children say that he is the least deserving person for something so cruel.
And whoever did this, just that they just get the justice that's due for Lonn. He did not deserve this. No one deserves anything like this, so we're praying hard.
Y'all, this is really sad. I wanted to highlight this story because it's not being talked about enough. I just want to say God bless the brother who is still alive today from this brutal attack. According to the news, as you can see, this was clarified as a hate crime, which means it's a federal charge. However, law enforcement officials have not made a statement on who the suspects were. They have not identified any potential suspects or identified any potential leads in this incident. Now, if you pay close attention, this attack on this innocent Black man happened back in July. We are almost in September now. We're nearly at the end of August, and they still haven't said any updates on this hate crime. Now, I did a little digging, and I did a little research online, and I wanted to do a deeper dive on this music festival he attended. It's a place or an event that they call Bliss Fest. Never heard of it. Sounds like one of those hippie festivals like Woodstock, where they hold like, different music venues. They have different food vendors come out. You know how you see like the food trucks and stuff. One of those type of events, just a normal gathering, right? Approximately 5,000 attend this event each year. Now, I don't know jack shit about Harbor Springs, Michigan, but one thing I do know, it don't sound like a friendly place for Black people. I'm convinced now. Because what the news didn't say about this hate crime that they described that nearly took the life of this innocent Black man is that some evil person or persons, because I'm pretty sure there's more than one person involved, attempted to decapitate this man. And if you don't know what that means, it simply means they tried to take his head off. He had multiple lacerations or cuts around his neck when they found him the next morning. And he spent about a week and a half in the hospital. I'm not sure if he's still there. He should be released by now because, again, this was in July. But I can't imagine the trauma and the therapy that he's going to need after this incident, because that is something that is not easy to recover from, especially when you lose a lot of blood. It's very disturbing on all levels, and I can't imagine this type of, attack happening on someone, especially if it's someone that I know. I wouldn't even know how to feel, but All I know is this made me think 10 times more about attending random events that I don't know jack shit about. Now, I'm not saying it's not safe to travel to an event, period. You just have to take precaution as a Black person. Because this Lonn Hartman guy, the victim who was attacked, is originally from Detroit. Because, Detroit is a very Black city. But hearing something like this is somewhere in northern Michigan in a city called Harbor Springs. Again, I ain't never heard of it. It just sounds backwoods. It's giving backwoods. Like this sounds like some Klan shit. I'm gonna be honest, because you would never hear something like this happening somewhere in a Black city like Detroit. Now, Detroit is a violent city. I will say that. But you don't hear hate crimes like this. No. So, yeah. I hope they get the evil pieces of shit that did this to him, because it really blows my mind how much hatred unfolds and turns violent against innocent Black people that did nothing to nobody. He just went there thinking he was going to have a good time, trying to enjoy himself with some friends. Now, here's my other question I have. Where the hell were his friends when this happened to him? Why was he alone in that tent where they found him? According to the news article I read, he was discovered the next day hanging outside of a tent. Where the hell were his friends? Now, he sent a text message, according to the news, to say that he felt like he was not safe. Why didn't anybody go after him and try to save him? Is my other question. See, this is why I say use the term friends loosely, because you really don't know who's a real friend at this point. Now, I'm not saying that his friends left him behind or abandoned him, but what I will say is that somebody knows something and they're not coming forward about the truth. That's one thing I do know. And I don't like how when I see stories like this that are very violent and they don't get the attention that they deserve, I like to highlight them and shed light on this. I've actually known about this story for quite some time. I was just trying to see how it was going to play out, but I wanted to share it since nobody's talking about it now. You see, TMZ, you know how they always try to get in the limelight and try to talk about all these random events around the world. Well, they're not even talking about this one. The only people I see talking about this specific case, this incident that no one else is talking about, are independent journalists like Don Lemon, shout out to Don Lemon, or popular, social media influencers such as Secret Service Sam, shout out to Secret Service Sam, and all types of other people following, these type of cases. But I don't see no mainstream media of any sort talking about the Lonn Hartman case. And again, I'm grateful that he survived this horrific incident that happened to him. But now his life is going to take a whole 360 getting through recovery from his horrible injuries he suffered around his neck to learning how to walk again. Because I don't even know if he can really walk with all the stuff that happened to him. People don't think about that type of stuff. His life is going to change drastically now, from healing to all that good stuff. Getting to some type of therapy, mental health counseling, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot that goes on between, recovering as a victim. It's really sad. I can't imagine the pain and the suffering he is going through at this moment. I can't imagine. And none, and I mean absolutely none, of them so-called friends that he was around during that music festival have came up and said nothing. The only one that actually said something was the close friend that interviewed, with the news and stuff. But outside of his two close friends, I haven't seen the others that attended that festival say anything. And again, it goes back to the drawing board. Why didn't anybody try to save him when he said he didn't feel safe at that event? If someone told me they didn't feel safe, I would be beating feet to wherever the hell they are. I don't care how far they are. If I can get to them, if they're within driving distance, yes, I'm going to attempt to save that person. If they're in the next city over, or they're like out of state and I know I can't get to them fast enough, I would be calling law enforcement, something. The point is, you got to take action. You can't just sit there and wait and see what happens the next day. This is a prime example of when you sit and wait, knowing that your friend is in danger. You don't even attempt to help him or save him. And now look at him, laid up in the hospital recovering from an attack. But yeah, I was just floored how somebody can just do this to somebody else for no reason at all. And there again, he was just going there to have a good time, listen to some music and stuff, and enjoy, the festival like anybody else would. Didn't bother nobody and still got attacked simply because of the color of his skin. It really boils my blood when I see stuff like this. It really does. And that's why I have to take a mental health break sometimes from certain cases like this, because they are very graphic, But sometimes the ugly truth needs to be shown to the world because nobody else is going to talk about it. All that's going to be done is going to be swept under the rug, and everyone's going to act like it never existed because no one has ever been charged. I even checked to see if they've charged anybody in this case. They haven't charged anybody. So that's why I wanted you guys to know first what's happening around the world. Because again, if mainstream is not going to tell you, who else is going to tell you? But yeah, very sad situation. Very sad situation. But y'all let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments below. Because there are no words for this at this point. I'm going to keep it real short because, again, this case is still developing. They haven't released anything as far as suspects involved or nothing. So unless I get any updates, I'll definitely share more. But this is all I have from the news.